It's kind of lame, but so if you someone,
That fits the rest of the entire show. So
okay, it's fine. We'll see what we can do.
We're doing it live.
You always do it live.
We're building the plane as we fly it.
As somebody who's driving a plane, it's not flying a plane. It's not too bad.
Welcome to Everyone Racers, a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture. It doesn't matter what kind of Lemma Champ or Lucky Track Dog League you run, SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate, as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself. Join us each week for tech discussion, tips, tricks, news and notes in the world of amateur endurance racing, whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough and Chrissy gives us just the tip. We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less. Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
I'm Jeff.
And I'm Mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Thanks for listening to an American Motors episode of our podcast. It's episode 232. Raise your hand if you've owned a 232 from AMC. Am I the only one?
I've owned a variant that if you keep talking, we'll discuss.
The 232 by AMC from 1964 to 1979 was the base inline six engine for several cars, including the Rambler Classic, Jeep CJ5, Gremlin, and Pacer, and would eventually be evolved into the Jeep 258 and the 4.0 used through 2006. You had a 4.0?
I had a 4.0 in my XJ.
Wow. Well, if you're not rocking out to Bohemian Rhapsody in a bubble-shaped Mirthmobile or any other car, why don't you check out our E1R bingo car? Link is in the show notes. Let's move on to the beginning of the show. What you working on? We'll start with Chrissy this week.
Okay. I have not been working on cars. This weekend, I cooked all day Saturday for my youngest sister's birthday party and then went to her birthday party, which was lovely. And then I had been doing some more deep cleaning because when I'm stuck inside for weekends, I feel like deep cleaning is a thing that my house is a better place to be once I know that it's clean. So that's what I've been doing. Yep. Mental. Sounds like you were doing some kind of car work, unlike the rest of us.
No, not really. Just went and we're still working on the house. I've got in-laws coming in at the end of the month. We're just got done with one exercise, spinning up for our next one. I was rearranging some stuff in the garage.
That's what I was getting at. I was thinking that was
I got the subframe for the 928 disassembled, so it doesn't take up nearly as much space. And then I replaced it with a transaxle torque tube shifter and a bunch of stuff for Pantless Matt, who I found a bargain for some of his planned upgrades here locally. He'll be coming to get that next month. I was helping our buddy JP. So look soon, they're this close to new episodes of Bid Nerds. The podcast studio should actually be functional on Friday. Ideally, I'll be over there trying to learn some of the software. And Sunday, I've got the Las Vegas half marathon because they're not running a full marathon this year.
Torque tube and shifter and all of that. Is that parts you might find in Corvette magazine?
You might. You got to fold it all the way out.
Yes.
All right. Well, and I don't think we're talking about it. It's not keeping it class. Speed Ventures, an organization out here on the West Coast. They do a lot of track day events. They have a Corvette Cup, and Pantless Matt, being a talented driver, has been dominating their stock class in these time attack style events out here on the West Coast. And once he wins that, he is looking to move up into the modified. So he has been gathering certain parts that fall within the his next class level.
Good luck, Matt.
Cool.
Chris, what you working on?
Sorry, I was gonna. Yeah, Chris.
I've been working at my part-time toy store job for the last week or so, basically. But
if you're here for the high and lowest signing, it has been moved to the Springfield Arena.
Exactly. But fortunately, it's all coming together. Literally, we've moved on to Legos. I've got through all the model team Legos, all the pirate Legos, all the space Legos, and now I'm into
spaceship.
Yep.
Spaceship.
And the monorail.
This is no small feat because when I was there for the work weekend, he showed me the boxes of Legos. This isn't a bag of Legos. This is entire reams of paper boxes of these different Lego categories.
Many of them. These are the small ones now, but the big ones, like the
For what I can reach.
right, the multi-hundreds of pieces of ones that are done. But I've also gotten a bunch of them up on eBay and even sold some. Like last night I sold a Pirates,
Fortress
base kind of thing, right, for $289.
Whoa.
Right.
That's just
So-
one.
Well done,
Yeah,
sir.
just-
I
Right, just
brought
for
what,
example.
6 boxes, 7 boxes, something like that to the mail post office
Post
today.
office. Yeah.
Click and
So
ship is getting used.
I'm just trying to get it all done and listed, and then it can just sit. And then as stuff sells, I'll ship it out. But it's getting them back together and like properly back together and getting them cleaned and pictured and listed is the hard part.
So you have to assemble them to sell them. You can't just like
Oh, yeah.
in the Ziploc bag say, I swear it's all there.
You're funny.
Yeah. Well,
'Cause-
you can if you want to get like $2 for it, because that's fine. But I'm trying, especially the rarer, older, good ones. I'm trying to get real money for. I mean, there are a number of them that are for sale for, let's say, more than $50, which I consider all right. That's worth a bit of my time to put this together and get it listed. Also, it's just not going away. And whatever's not easily like part of a set that I can get together and not worth anything, just normal, just leftover pieces. It's all just going in a box for Henry for when he's big enough to play with those. So
We literally every flat surface in the living room to kitchen was full of Legos. The table that's behind me, full. All of the
We even
tables. I
made
was
one of
like,
the
they have
shelves
to
of
go
the-
away.
right.
So
the
you
shelves
have,
of the
like-
I was like,
fireplace
we
had 'em.
can't eat.
I'm going to point out to literally everyone else listening on this podcast, with the possible exception of your mother, what you just described to our entire audience is heaven. And you are presenting it as a dystopian
But
nightmare.
Legos,
Imagine a house with every flat surface is a Lego project.
No.
Right now,
No.
so
They all have
many
little
people are
stickers, like
so
stickies on them?
happy.
No.
So happy.
it was so many.
So I have a question. Do you like have all like are these like in the box and you still have the instructions, or are you like no?
Some.
I am there. Some of them I did actually have the instructions in the box. Very few had the box, only the monorail. But some of them I did have the instructions. Others, there's a massive community online of Lego websites where you can kind of look up what you have. And especially once you know the 4-digit number of what the code of that particular set, then there's a variety of sites that have all the old instructions on them. So I'm just going through the old instructions once I figure out what a set is. Like once you figure out what line it's in, like, oh, this is the Pirates line from 1989. Oh no, this is the town Coast Police line. Okay, fine. This is the Futron line. Okay, great. You then find the digit of the code of what set you have, gets you the instructions, and they usually have, but for the better ones, they have lists of how many of each brick were supposed to be in it. So it's like one guy, it was a fairly expensive one he bought for $150, was like, oh, I only see 9 of the palm leaves and 4 of the pistols. It's supposed to have 10 palm leaves and 5 pistols. So I'm robbing them off like the broken bits of ones that I have. Like, okay, fine, asshole, here you go. He paid good money if he wants some 10 palm leaves.
I say he's not a jerk. He is a collector.
Well, and then-
it's not like Legos people aren't detail oriented.
Oh,
Then
yeah,
Chris went
yeah.
back and wrote and said most of the things should be on here.
Yeah, I
most.
edited every listing to say, this is the best I got. There might be an accessory or 2 missing. What's in the pictures is what's there. Thank you.
What's in the box?
Yep.
Well, that
But
sounds
yeah, I mean-
actually fantastic.
No, it's
my,
not.
I've sold like $4,500 worth of between toys and car parts in the last 3 months.
And this is all stuff you had.
Yes.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this is stuff from your youth.
Yeah, plus like stuff from the Civic, like some of the interior parts I've sold for a few bucks.
I meant
had
the
those
toys
Alfa
and the
Romeo.
Legos.
Oh, the
are
to- oh,
all,
yeah.
Yes.
Stuff that came home from my mom's house that has been in her attic since like 1992.
See, my mom just threw all that shit away, including my
Right?
first car. Like I left my first car in front of
No
the yard
way.
and she threw it out. And then she had the audacity to be like, oh, look, I found in your room the steering wheel. And it's like, I don't have the car anymore. It's not much help. I'm not scarred at all.
You're
Yeah.
you're so
And
You're
speaking
so-
of people that are scarred,
You're
Erling, yet again,
you're
someone
so,
weird about like a bus that crashed, full of
Sorry,
people.
Erling.
he's so
Nice
upset.
Swedish people. Yeah. right, Jeff, we'll just keep going. I mean, you're already on a
All
roll.
right.
What else are you working on aside from your anger management issues?
My anger management issues, yeah. So I had to work one of the days on campus. We had a nice Black Lives Matter march. That was pretty exciting. We got to go to Atlantic City, where we were just talking about, and shake some signs. That was fun. So I only had one day, and winter was back, so I did just a bunch of little house projects, nothing worth discussing. But I do have something to discuss. So my wife, as I mentioned before, Jennifer, lovely town of Jennifer, 2015 Subaru Forester that I just did all the suspension on, goes to the dealership for oil changes because they're cheaper than local, because she frequently gets them for free because it says in her customer profile, give this bitch something free or she'll kill you. Took her car to the dealer for an oil change, and I told her before she went, look, I'm not really 100% sure I got the suspension all back perfect in alignment. They offer you an alignment every single time you go, and it's been like 1 degree out. If they offer you the alignment this time, take it. They don't even check the alignment. So she's like, why didn't you check the alignment? She's like, oh, the machine was busy, so we didn't do it. She says, well, I would like you to check the alignment. So I check the alignment, and they go, oh man, it's way off. It was not way off. Red flag number 1. It might have been a little off, but it was not way off. So they tell her they'll do the alignment, $99, thought it was a good price, good dealer price. They come back and they say, oh, it seems that somebody has put on a whole bunch of new parts recently, and they're all aftermarket parts. And a lot of the bolts are not the right size, so we weren't able to get the alignment perfect. We did the best we can. And some of them were on too tight, and we couldn't get them off. I'm like, they said what? Crazy talk.
I don't know. Maybe that survived the 25's done you a lot of good, and now you're a super strong man. You wrench down on those bolts and they can't move.
Or it's called impact gun.
I didn't really impact anything on maybe a
longer
little bit.
breaker bar.
Too many Ugga-duggas.
Too many Ugga-duggas. I'll take too many Ugga-duggas. But every bolt was the same. Every bolt was stock Subaru. So I don't know what they're talking about bolts not long enough. Whatever.
It's
it
called
came back.
dealer. It's because dealer.
Because dealer. It's like, you have 20 minutes to do this. Do as best you can in 20 minutes, and we'll bullshit the excuse for the rest of it.
Basically.
That's what happened.
Yes, because she had to get in front of people and wasn't scheduled, and everybody's going,
can you get that thing off the rack?
Right. I'm busy. I've got stuff to do. This wasn't scheduled. Get out of here. Oh,
and again, the light is flashing on the service person's computer saying, get this bitch out of the showroom. So
now what?
No, nothing. It's fine. She's like, yeah, it's whatever little teeny bit of pull it had is gone. So.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
Oh, right. As long as you're good with it, and that's good.
I'm fine with it.
We love F1. I know there's so much going on in social media about F1. It's coming. Oh, we love F1.
Watching it.
Maximum Lexi, we don't know who you are, and I'm mad at you. But we are going to be heading up our E1R F1 Fantasy League again soon. Can we kick people out? We need to kick him out.
We'll set up this time to where you can't pay the extra money. You have to come in bone stock.
That's
crap can fantasy F1.
The problem with that is if you're in multiple leagues.
Don't care.
Goes to multiple leagues, so all of our friends who are in Apex adjacent won't be able to join our league.
Gonna have to set up a separate account with
it's fun
with no extra money. So
do that. Set up two different emails. I like that idea.
That just happened.
Maybe I should do that or something. Okay, but there's a chance. That's not all that we're talking about. There's a chance that we could have a second and potentially competitive American team to cheer for.
I'm sorry. I know it's a comedy show.
Fred Smith at Road and Track relays Mario Andretti his announcement from late last week. The senior Andretti confirmed to Racer Magazine that his son Michael's program has all of its funding, including the $200 million one-time fee to join the grid. He revealed that logistic plans are in place, as well as one potential driver, American Colton Herta, the same driver Andretti had when they attempted to buy Sauber last year. Plans are already in place. The team will be based in Indiana with a separate facility in the UK. The engine supplier has been found as well too, but the 1978 F1 champion is not going to reveal anything at this point. The FIA, if the FIA approves, Andretti Global could be on track for the 2024 season. We'll see what happens.
Let's say if there's an American that's got a chance of making this work, it's that family.
Yeah, I mean, Colton Herta absolutely could. One of the things that is in the way is he does not have a super license and would need to go to Europe to qualify, like take a year off of his IndyCar season, basically, to go qualify.
Well, if they've got the plan and if they got that kind of money behind it, okay. I just figured that they were just going to buy Haas because, I mean, it's either them or
Haas got to be like the change under the couch cushions should be able to buy Haas.
Yeah. Oh well. All right. Hey, Ford unveiled their newest truck variant, the Ranger Raptor, because that's all they do is more truck variants. And this one, it's big. It's got big tires. It's got big turbos, and some guys with big egos, and they're gonna make sure they buy it. It's got a twin turbo 3-liter V6. It used to be for Lincoln models. This one's been massaged by Ford Performance. Euro version has 284 horses, 362 foot-pounds. Aussie version is 392 and 430 because boost. Ford won't say which ones we get. This one's just all-wheel drive, 10-speed automatic. Does get front and rear lockers, terrain modes, and reinforced chassis. So cool.
They'll sell a million of them.
This is also the base for the Bronco Raptor, which they're going to.
They're going to sell 5 million of.
Right. People with low self-esteem are touching themselves thinking about the Bronco Raptor right now.
I'm one of them.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
So that ship fire that inspired 100 memes and dreams of a lemon Porsche GT3 has been brought under control. The Felicity Ace is a car carrier caught fire last week crossing the Atlantic with thousands of Volkswagen Auto Group vehicles on board. 2 large tugboats found the ship Tuesday and started spraying the vessel with water to cool off the hull. 22 crew members were successfully rescued. No one's died. And as soon as it's safe to go on board, salvage exports will assess the damage to the cargo. Specifics haven't been made public, but initial reports include about 1,100 Porsche vehicles, about 190 Bentleys, and approximately 1,100 Volkswagens, Golf Rs, GTIs, Artons, and ID4s, the new electric one. Now, Sebastian Blanco at Car Drivers telling us that it includes dozens of Lamborghinis, mostly Urus SUVs, but some Aventador and Huracan models were also on the ship. So poor little Vino out.
Question. They found it? It was lost?
It was adrift.
It was adrift, but they always knew where it was, didn't they? I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to the story that much. So I might have missed this.
It has a transponder on it.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew where it was. They got back to where it was. Yes.
Yes.
Before they were leaving it alone because that'll just burn itself out.
Pretty much. It's on fire.
Oh boy. Hey, so last week we talked a lot about these jerk-ass dealers who are jacking the prices up on customers, especially for Ford Broncos and Ford Bronco Raptors. You might as well just start selling your children now. And several manufacturers have made some half-hearted efforts, looking at you, Ford, to try and stop it. But Hyundai is not screwing around now. With all the new cars selling for an average of 6,000 more than last year, the Automotive News intercepted a letter, not for the public, that Hyundai sent out to the dealers suggesting that anybody setting prices well above MSRP was negatively impacting their brand. They also warned that such actions could reduce allocations and advertising support and incentives. Of course, there are no incentives this year because everything is going out the door. So Hyundai seemed particularly displeased with the dealers who had advertised vehicles at one price and then raised it ahead of the sale. That's probably illegal. There was a letter that was signed by Randy Parker, Senior VP of Hyundai Motor America, and Claudia Marquez, Marquez, COO of Genesis North America, and it said, quote, all these practices result in the sale of vehicles above MSRP prices, in some cases way above MSRP prices, are damaging our brand's long-term ability to capture new customers and retain loyal ones. We cannot stand idly by watching the actions of the aforementioned dealers undo all the efforts we collectively have put into making these brands what they are today. Direct quote from the letter. Sounds pretty strong. It's like they figured out that, you know, if you piss us off when we buy a car, we're not going to come back. Surprise?
Yep.
I don't know.
No.
Screw the whole dealer system.
I don't think anything's gonna happen from it. I mean, Hyundai dealers, if they're not shady, like the only ones shady are Kia and Mitsubishi dealers. So
Well, Kia is the same family.
I know.
So,
I know.
Yeah. Well, and Hyundai and Kia have had some of the hottest models out there right now with the Telluride and things. So this isn't new for them. The Tellurides have been impossible to get at sticker price since its launch, well before everything else started getting jacked. Anyway, whatever. This just in, Alfa Romeos are still widely available below sticker price. According to a Jalopnik article, selling $3,400 below sticker on average in the month of January. So, you know, if you don't want to get screwed by the dealer, go buy. Never mind. I can't even. Can't even finish that sentence.
Make the suggestion.
Yeah, no, don't do that.
All right. So I was looking around on Racing Junk just because it's one of our favorite pages, and I stumbled upon the business directory. I didn't know that
somebody
they had
share this. I can't wait for this.
Oh, I know.
Somebody
I
share the pictures.
Hold on. Which is a great list of locations that partner with Racing Junk. So they partnered with us. So I have to believe that some of these are a good places, and it's a great place to start if you're looking for something. They have trailer shops. They have locations that do fiberglass, performance shops, all kinds of stuff. You could ask the internet, but this is a good place, an additional resource to check things out. While I was browsing the classified section, I stumbled upon a section. Picture this. You're at the Jersey Shore or any shore or beach town or something like that. You're walking on the boardwalk and you hear this loud revving truck coming from the beach. That's right. It's a monster truck. And then you say, where could I get said monster truck? Wouldn't it be awesome if I could get a monster? Oh, I lost my notes. Okay.
Sorry.
Well, that's okay. Where could I get this monster truck? Oh, you could have one yourself. Racing Junk has monster trucks. First one, a monster short bus.
This
and
makes
it
me
says,
so happy.
Hold on the back of it. Okay,
Yes.
monster truck. Then right underneath of it, it's a tank. It's an Aerostar, I think. I don't know what it is. Aerostar, that van that's made into a tank.
That's amazing. For those of you who aren't watching on YouTube, go to YouTube and see the picture. The wheels of the tank are polished.
Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, that one has a pair of twin 500 horsepower big blocks in it.
Something like that.
That'll work.
Big blocks. Yeah.
Yes. So you could have a tank, or you could have your own actual monster truck like the Jurassic Attack. Yes. So you can check them out for yourself. There's probably 2 or 3 more on the monster truck section. So
Those things are pretty legit.
get yourself a monster
Yes.
truck.
And I love that they have a section monster. Truck.
I do too. And that's why you keep going through. And I was like, don't go through the Corvette section. So I was like, any like ours that we could sell. But then I keep scrolling down and I was like, ooh, the boat section. Oh, the monster trucks. What?
I was going to say,
Yes.
what in the Florida panhandle is that? But it's too amazing.
They're not all from Florida. We'll tell you.
Look, you're going to sit on Facebook Marketplace and look at dumb crap. You're going to sit on Craigslist and, look at dumb crap and eBay, or bring a trailer of all stuff you're not going to get and could afford even if you want to. Might as well go to Racing Junk. And if you're going to fantasize, go big. I love it.
Right.
Yeah.
And they were some of them were fairly reasonable.
They're beautiful too. That was really well done. That was like a professional job. That's not such some
You can,
jamoke
buy
with a lift
them.
kit,
I think they were like $50,000 and $60,000. Like you could.
No, honey, this is a fine purchase. Chrissy on Everyone Racer said this is a very reasonably priced monster truck. It's fine.
And you know the objection from all of the spouses of our listeners being like, no way, Chrissy said that.
I
Michael
did.
said that. Jeff said that. There's no way
Okay,
Chrissy
so
said that.
the bus was expensive, but the actual monster trucks were not that expensive. So
Upcoming races.
Last week's guest, Bill Fisher, is headed to CMP for the opening round of the Lucky Dog Southern Cup
So
race.
jealous.
You just
Bill and
left.
Alex are going to be there with 42 cars, which 10 BMWs, including them, which
Boring.
are still boring.
Boring.
But a
Yeah,
good ratio.
25%. All right.
Yeah, that's an okay ratio. Yep, 6 Miatas, 3 Hondas, 2 Porsches, and Team Race Bar. So at least someone will be having fun. Between Alex and Alex.
This is also a BMW, but it's definitely not boring.
Not a boring BMW.
Yeah.
Recent results.
Okay. AER at Road Atlanta this weekend. Now, on Saturday, the boring BMW from Randall Vandals beat the boring BMW from AF Racing by 3 laps. And 5 laps back was a different boring BMW from Randall Vandals. But Sunday, whole different story. You see, a boring BMW from Random Vandals that finished third on Saturday finished first on by 9 laps over a Cayman from Angry Croc Racing because they left their 3 boring BMWs at home. And then third was 12 laps back, and that was a different boring BMW from BW Motorsports, which I can only guess stands for boring work.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of BMWs.
Just saying.
Listener feedback time. So on the aforementioned discussion of the flaming ship full of Porsches, we posted a snarky picture of a meme, of course, of a GT3 on a floating door with Leo DiCaprio a la Titanic. And I really thought Tyler Stank won the caption this meme contest by saying any Porsche can be water cooled if it sinks. And then David Eckel showed up and said, shouldn't the Porsche be painted silver rose? Done.
And hey,
Best joke.
the swimming pool in the Titanic is still full of water.
It's very functional.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's full of algae, though.
But there's water. There's a lot of water in there.
Fine.
So
Somebody needs to vacuum it, though. It's
Right.
got a lot of dirt in it, probably.
Someone put a shock treatment in that thing. Last week's Cage from a Kid episode, Chris Mills said, please help Mental with the cage in the new Chris Vention Civic. So Vicky and Bill, apparently you have to go book a flight to Oklahoma or wherever they are these days building that thing.
No, that's the one I asked you about when I said, tell me about this engine. It's in my storage space.
Oh, good.
On the YouTubes, Michael K chimed in. FYI, the nice thing about working with Roll Cage Components, the company that supplied Garage Heroes, the kit, is that you can tell Jim things like, I need the main hoop diagonal to end 4 inches higher than normal, or we need a harness bar notched for a center 26 inches from the center line on the main hoop. Of course, all of this assumes you know such things when you're ordering them. When we did specify the door bar distance with the vintage Mazda 626, put in the notes section on the sheet and made it very clear when we talked to Jim about it. Good to know.
But he did take issue with Jeff's need for a specific brand of cutting. Quote, cutting oil for cages is just use motor oil in a spray bottle or an oil can.
That's a terrible idea.
That's actually not that terrible of an idea, but Greg O'Brien checked in on the Facebook and he disagreed with Michael K. He said, and showed us his brand spanking new bottle of Tap Magic, saying, I can't wait to try it. And the boys at Cheese Bolt have never used a dedicated product for cutting oil before, and they have a few cages coming up. So good luck to the boys at Cheese Bolt, but you're not going to top the tempo. So just keep trying.
This segment is apparently brought to you by Goldfish Megabytes, as Mental held them nicely into the camera there. So we can see what those sound delicious.
How big are they?
Fluid film.
Oh,
don't let your junk rust. Okay.
Yep. Got to keep your junk lubricated. All right. Tim B, FSPR fame, asked an actual good question. Why do you prefer the long bar cage method versus the Halo bar? Is it just because of the one tricky notch, or are there other reasons? And Jeff is knocking over things on his desk.
Oh my goodness.
That question makes him so mad every time.
Yep. Tim, here's my reason. Yeah, that tricky notch is terrible, but also that bar where it attaches to the Halo bar, it's kind of in shear in the weld there. It's so it I don't really like welds in shear that are really under force like that. I also think you can get a better fit to the body with the long bar. Jeff.
I don't think the Halo is easier as people say it is. And I don't think it's the notch, but I think, you know, you're absolutely right that the halo then has to be the lowest point of the body, while the long tubes can kind of more conform to the body. But when we did the last halo, and I can't remember why we were doing a halo for some reason,
we did it on the ombre because it was an exo cage.
because there's an exo cage. It's not as easy to make as you think. So try the long bar. It was actually not that hard. Once you figure it out, it's not that hard.
Yep. All right. Survive the 25 update. We've got our update from the man himself, Jeff. 4th place, 27 points.
4th place. I have not updated in a while, but I have lost 2 more pounds, which means I am not going to make the 25. It is very far away. And I also had trouble with my simulator, so I've lost those hours. So I'm doing my best. I don't think 25 is attainable, but I'm going to try and get to 20. But man, I got a long way to go. I did mention that I joined the other gym, but I haven't actually accomplished getting there yet.
Oh,
I-
come on.
Anorexia
joined.
can work
I
for
just
you
joined.
too.
Yo, that's so bad.
Food poisoning and intestinal parasites helped me.
Stop.
Tapeworms? Yeah.
Stop.
I do say I might not be losing
Laxative
a ton
abuse?
I might not be losing a ton of weight, but I've definitely lost a decent amount around my waist, because like I'm having to crank in my belts like an extra notch and things that used to be too tight are now fitting. So whatever's happening, I definitely feel better about everything I'm doing. I'm still
tapeworm.
no, it's not a tapeworm. I'm still working out like a madman. It's just
But
I think at 49, because I'm not yet 50, that'll come in like a week and a half or so. I just think I've never really learned how to diet correctly, because it used to come off like that and now it doesn't.
Getting old sucks.
Yep.
Yeah.
No fun.
Beats the alternative.
Yeah, it's true.
Being dead.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk some racing. So Lemon's Funduro was at Sonoma, followed by a brief banger cross at Phoenix. In the booth was an actual real racer, Ryan Lewis, who shared some of his insights regarding folks who take it too seriously among people who get paid to do it. The next event is Wednesday, March 16th. Put that on your calendar because it's a random day of the week. I'm sure you'll see it on Facebook and social media, though. It is the famous roller derby at Road Atlanta, followed by the even more famous No Pedal, No Wheel. That sounds fun.
And we
Yeah,
had our
Oh, sorry. The broadcast was actually really funny. Good job to all of you. I think Ryan Lewis had some fantastic insights about racing, but the best insight was that who is Ryan Lewis that we know, who sings with Macklemore, right?
Produces.
Macklemore and Ryan Lewis
Mhm.
produces. Ryan Lewis, the racer, owned RyanLewis.com and had to sell it to Ryan Lewis from Macklemore for whatever Friday.
He didn't have to sell it.
He said,
Ryan
"Oh
Lewis
yeah,
Ryan Lewis had to buy it from him.
yes, I sold that sucker my .com name." I thought that was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yes. Nice guy. Eric's going to try really, really hard to get him out and judge a race. And so if you see a very fit English fellow when you pull into the penalty box, don't try to bullshit him, because he already knows what you did, and you're not going to get that cold tire excuse past him.
No,
Okay, can I go now?
yes,
mentally ate another megabyte, so I got time. All right. Our E1R race, we started
Twinkies,
at
whatever you need.
Okayama with touring cars and street stocks, and then went to the Circuit de Port Ricard in Xfinity Cup cars. Both of these were specific requests by the work burglar. So Tyler Stank came in first in the first race, with Andrew Pullman right behind him. In the second race, Uncle Dave took the first spot. So there's always someone there. Monday nights, 9 and 10. It's usually just a good time. No one cares. Laugh it up. Crash at the back with Jeff and I.
Yep.
Or run at the front with Tyler and Dave.
Wartburger and Aaron and Dave and everything. I did have some computer troubles. I did fix it, but didn't get in time for the 10 o'clock race. So I'll be there next week. And I just wanted to say thanks to Chrissy's mom and dad for listening to us for all these years.
Aw.
Thanks. They'll appreciate it when they get
I
there.
just want to make sure to get the dad in.
He would appreciate it.
You will.
So that's very nice.
with the conclusion of the foosball 2 weeks ago and the running of the Daytona 500, sports ball is officially done. The Piggers really did awesome. And racing
Piggers.
season, go Piggers. Racing season has started. Now, while the weather where you live might say different, it actually snowed on me today. It was 52 degrees, but we had a bizarre set of Virga come through, and I was getting pelted with snowflakes this afternoon.
It was nice here.
Yes. Here, what we're
I
talking
want to
about.
rub that in. It was 65 degrees here today, Mental.
Ooh, very nice.
Just want to say that had better weather than you just because we can.
I'll mark that down. That makes it 1.
1 to 364, I think is the answer. Well, August. I'm gonna be August too. So,
but even that plays into our point. So the weather's getting better. It is getting to be race season, and what we wanted to talk about is you get yourself out of that slump. Jeff's spent all of his off season working really hard, making himself, adding lightness and all this other kind of stuff, and we all been doing this stuff. But sometimes it's hard making that lethargic contextual shift to it's racing season. And what we came up with, these are just 4 immediate quick projects that you can do this weekend to start putting your brain on the racetrack, even if your car can't be.
hey, I'll start it
because more than 4 because I've got 2.
I kind of got 2 also, so it's like we all kind of cheated. But hey, here's the deal. I just did it. Literally, we already talked about it. I did shocks and struts, excuse me.
And apparently Mega torqued all the bolts.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. I did that in one day on a daily driver that is in New Jersey and rusty. So if you plan well, shocks, suspension, or brakes can be done in a single weekend, even if you don't have everything together and everything doesn't go perfectly. Wheels off, do the work, wheels back on, drop it down, drive that puppy to the track the next weekend or to work the next week. Your car can be completely transformed by either a big set of brakes or shocks and springs. You should do it. So here's 2 tips I have. Save yourself some time. Either pre-assemble the shocks and struts. You can get like with the hat. You can get put the hat on before you even wrench on the car. You're probably going to try and want to upgrade to some sort of funny hat, either extended hats or slotted hats. So yeah, you really can do all of this like before you take the wheels off the car and save yourself a bunch of time. Our friend down there, the 914 DJ 914, recently did shocks and springs on one of his dailies and bought the whole set as a kit and said it was a lot easier. So check that out. I had to buy a new spring compressor, and a good spring compressor will save you a hell of a lot of time and your life if you're not careful. So there it is. Same thing with brakes. Replace as much of the hardware as possible, and it'll go a lot faster. What are you going to do? Find someone to cut your discs, your rotors? Who does that anymore? They're like $25 on Rock Auto. Get new discs, new pads. It'll come with the hardware. Slap all those puppies in. If you can't do that in a day, practice more.
And
Mic
while
drop.
you're in there, I'll also say while you're in there, especially on a daily driver, you probably haven't changed the brake fluid ever. All your wheels are off.
Do it then.
Why not? And especially if it's all bled out fine, you're not replacing any components. Gravity bleeding is a wonderful way to go. You just suck everything out of the master cylinder, put some fresh stuff in, crack the bleeder with a bottle on it, and do something else. And as long as you come back before the master cylinder is empty, hey, you know what? You just flush the brake fluid out of that wheel. It's a really, really convenient way to do it. No effort, gets it done. And that saves your brakes. Like that's why calipers seize up, is because there's water and junk that goes to the piston, which is the lowest point. And then when they seize.
Bleed goes without saying. If you have to bleed them whenever you're taking them apart. I mean, you don't have to, but you should, because you listen to our podcast and you understand it. Buy the dang pressure bleeder, so you have to stop annoying your wife. I'll go bring her down here and she'll agree.
You don't even need it for the gravity bleed. If there's nothing wrong with your brake system, you didn't open it up. Seriously, just crack the thing, walk away, come back, and it's clear. It's amazing.
I like the pressure.
I know, but this takes less effort even. It's like,
And you don't need your wife.
Actually do nothing. We'll
Or
open that
go
wheel
around and
and
do
work
one
on
of
the
those
other one.
Go do one of the suspension bits while your front
Yeah.
wheel is doing his
And then you can
gravity.
As
keep
long
an
as
eye
somebody's watching
on the bottle to make
Mhm.
keep an eye on the bottle. You know, if it gets to a certain point, oh, I guess I got to go refill the master.
Good
Yeah.
idea.
Mhm.
So Jeff was saying, okay, are you done? But did you actually mic drop? I wasn't sure, just making sure. So at your end of your mic drop, you were saying that you just get everything on Rock Auto. While you're there, get yourself some wiper blades for your cars and get parts that you just like, more oil filters and things that you could need. So I
There's a
didn't
little- find the
what?
little truck icon next to the stuff you want. So if it's already shipping from the place you're shipping from, yeah, toss the wiper blades, the oil filters. When's the last time you changed the cabin air filter? Come on.
I'm
And
gonna
if you're not a Rock Auto person, they got it at O'Reilly's.
who's not a Rock Auto
Or
person?
whatever flaps
I'm not
you
friends
prefer.
with you.
But yeah, we've
Just
almost covered the door to our garage in unique Rock Auto magnets. We're getting
Literally,
close.
and they're unique. Every once in a while,
I
there's
get
two,
this. I get the same one, all the same 20, like all the time.
Well, so do we, because we get 40 things from Rock
Yeah, it's
Auto,
true.
and we just keep getting the same 20 when we throw those away. Anyway, so I am pivoting a little bit from your race car, but you can do these things on your race car. My suggestion is for, especially when it gets warmer, is to detail your daily. You could also do your race car. I know this is almost, Jeff was trying to fight me for this one, but I went with it.
Yeah.
And I'm kidding. Come on. Right? You don't even know what these words mean.
He
Detail
did it
your,
once in the Veloster, and he was so excited to tell us.
but make it
I turned off my mic because I was about to walk to the Rock Auto. I've cleaned the Veloster more than I've cleaned every car combined.
okay.
in my
That's
life.
fine. So this is
So
right.
once?
Twice.
Yeah, once.
They're all, no way. He's saying 10. Anyway, my suggestion is to make it a nice place to be. You can go, and this won't take you very long, take you a day, take you a weekend, maybe at most. But one thing you could do, Jeff is taking us on a trip. If you're watching on YouTube, he is going to the garage to go for. So
Don't get sick. Oh,
yeah,
there's
you're right.
His Rock Auto wall.
His Rock
Okay.
Auto wall. Okay. Wash the engine bay. Once you get it clean, wash it with, if you have pressure washer out, if you have, at least just rinse it off, spray some Simple Green, wash off your engine bay, and then you can check for leaks, check for something that's different. Then you stick your head in there and look around for stuff. But really making sure that you are, you could, if you wanted to go so far, and this was in my discussion with Chris, I don't know if I would go this far, but you could take out the seats to get out the sticky change. That's a little much, but at least if you can vacuum as much as you possibly can. The other thing is that tighten loose screws. So when you spend a lot of time, especially like Jeff, and probably mental, but I used to spend a lot of time in the car because I used to do good, 1 to 2 hours a day, a one way. So I spent a lot of time in the car. I noticed that when my sun visor, when I would use it too much because I had an economy car, I would put it back and forth. And then the screw used to come a little bit loose. And so it's things like that. You're just like, oh, it's so annoying. But then you get out of the car and you're like, okay, I'm going to go do something in my house. I'm not thinking about the things that I need to do in my car. Now is the time to do them. Go around and fix all the problems that you had. And you said, like, it's not hard to do the screw, but I never remember to do it. It's things like that you are bothered by. You see them happen and you are in the car and you're noticing it. But as soon as you get out of the car, you don't notice it. So do that. Get the Q-tips out. Because that is the best. It is so nice to have all of your surfaces clean. You get your Q-tips out and you stick them on all the little places that your crumbs fall in, and especially if you have children. But also, if you don't, because crumbs just get everywhere, wash inside and outside of your windshield. The inside of the windshield was the other thing, was it always get dirty. And then you're like, especially when you're driving into the sun, you're like, that is filthy. But then you get out of the car and you forget about it. I used to set myself reminders when I get home. My phone used to remind me, don't forget to clean your windshield because it was disgusting. Okay, Jeff had his hands up and then mental. You're on mute. So there's
Sorry,
that.
I made it mute
He
so
was
I could
trapped
walk.
in a big empty box.
I'm a horrible mime. I was gonna say I did this just yesterday.
Yes.
I took out the Allen wrench and I tightened the radar detector mount because I kept getting the and then push it back, push it back.
This is
Push
bad
it back.
radio. It's falling down. It would.
Yes,
It would.
yes.
Yes, it wasn't tight. Yes. So definitely a
But
good
you
thing to
don't
do.
have the Allen wrench. You have to go to the garage, get the Allen wrench, and went
You
back.
have to remember it.
Left it in the car in the center console for future.
I mean, good until you need that wrench.
no,
in
I
the
got to have a
garage.
chip. I got to have a cheapie set.
That's fine. Mantle, go ahead.
In addition to the Q-tips, because sometimes Q-tips can't quite get the force, those repetitive rock auto magnets, wrap a blue paper towel or a cleaning cloth around it, and that is good for getting in between surfaces where crumbs
okay.
tend to gather.
Compressed air, blowgun.
Yes.
Okay.
Question for people who wash their car.
Yes, that's probably.
I haven't used it yet, but I bought the goo. Is this a good idea or a bad idea?
What's the goo?
So it's like
I've seen it advertised on.
it's like a big ball of goo,
yeah.
and you like shove it into the things, and then and it pulls out
if
all the
you remember,
dust.
If you remember the old slime that now all the elementary school kids make at home, but it used to come in the green can.
Yeah.
It would invariably get filthy. Well, someone figured out, well, why not we just make it to get filthy? And it is a detailing device. And Jeff, if you bought that, I really hope you tape it and use it and put it on one of our social medias, because I'm actually in a land of very finite dust. I'm interested to see how well that does.
All right, we will tape it and we will post it.
All right.
This is riveting.
Okay, out there, if you use the goo, tell us that you use it and tell us whether it's worth it.
And
Put it down
hopefully
there in the doodly doo.
you make a schedule to clean your car. The last thing is that when you're vacuuming the whole car, now's the time to check the air in your spare tire, because if you're cleaning stuff out, you're moving stuff around, maybe you don't have as much snow coming through, you're going to put your snow brush in your trunk, and then you're going to check the air in your spare, or make sure that your compressor works if you don't have a spare, blah, blah, blah. That's what.
Yeah. Well, I was pointing to mental because that's always important.
Right? Because we needed to do that. So I was just thinking about not actually having a spare, and you need to make sure that your spare's in there. We've gone places in the NSX without the spare. So there's things like that just add it to the list. All right, I'm done.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll add to that. Rain-X is wonderful. If you're cleaning the glass, there's no reason not to put the Rain-X on there too, unless you live in the desert and it doesn't rain. Then
No, actually,
whatever.
even then, it's worth putting the Rain-X on because it is still a polymer coat and it keeps your windshield clean. So, yeah, if you're cleaning it, after you clean it, Rain-X it.
Cool.
All right. Stealing this idea from Chrissy. Now, find out where your next track's going to be. We've actually already posted links to all of the schedules from all of the amateur organizations. You can also go to NASA or your next autocross or just your next track day event, any organization. Know what track you're going to and start to study it now. You, even if you've been there 100 times, there's always something to learn. And this is the infamous make a map. We have an episode on this one. Get those big sheets of paper and draw it all out. You're going to want to note the curbing, the pavement transitions, the surface changes, and you're going to have to go to a couple different sources to find that. YouTube, photos, things of that.
Chris
If
can
you-
turn his computer one way or the other.
And there's a track.
And
And that comes into play as I wrap up this segment. So if you don't already know, knowing those pavement transitions or who got repaved this year is going to give you an idea of the level of grip. How harsh is the curbing in those, and where does that curbing start and where does it end, and how much of it can actually get the tire on before it starts to disrupt it? Is it slippery when it's wet? Are there bumps on this track? The infamous transition from the main oval up the hill at New Hampshire. There's a big bump. There's a divot there that you try to avoid. Are there new ones? Are there old bumps? Willow Springs, during the course of my last weekend there, developed a hole coming through turn 9, and they had to brief it to us before we started the endurance race because we were going to be running in the dark and we weren't going to see it. And they had patched it over, but they were fully expecting it to come up while we were racing. Where's your runoffs? Where's your dangerous areas? Where's the area that if you go off the track, just straighten up the wheel and suck it up because you're not going to wrestle it back on? Even if you know your track, look at these recent images, pop into these videos, preferably from a different series, not something that you're used to running because you're going to get a different perspective. Asphalt, like everything else, evolves over time. Consider CMP before the repave versus CMP now. In the winter, especially up north. Cracks are going to expand. You got holes that develop. We already talked about the early spring. Check out the forums for folks that ran recent events at the track, or they ran the season closer, or they did one of the winter races that some places do. Add all of these things to your track map. If you haven't or if you have not been there, you don't consider yourself an expert, Ross Bentley is an excellent resource. He has already kind of labeled and drawn out maps of these tracks on the Speed Secrets websites. We're big fans of his. If you are an expert and you do all of this and you go through 17 different sources and you know every bump and transition and everywhere you can go off and everywhere to make a pass and everywhere to defend, and you learn absolutely nothing, congratulations, you have just created a wonderful training tool for your teammates or your paddock buddies who may have never been to this track before. You got kids? It's a big coloring exercise. Get them involved. And now you got a fun family project. So you want to get your brain, you want to start thinking about racing, get your brain on the track before you get there.
I love this.
Yep. So whenever you're trying to go to the track, you're just thrashing to get stuff done and pack a trailer and pack an RV.
My favorite track map story is when we were at Laguna and Chrissy was looking at the track map. Did you draw that track map, or was it?
Heck yeah, I did.
Yeah,
It's actually
it was your
turn. Chris, turn that way. No, it's behind you. It's over there.
We're standing next to the Chrissy drawn track map. I don't remember you flying with the track map.
I totally
there it is.
did.
It's got creases in it. You of course flown with it.
Totally, I did.
And it was fantastic. And you're talking about, we tested, we did this, and we did this, and we did this. And up comes a guy in a suit, and he's got like a funny European accent, and he's like this and this and this and this. And he's like, and we're like, and he was like enamored with your track map. He was like, this is the greatest thing ever. That guy, Johann Schwartz.
Yeah,
record holder for longest drift.
Chris can see a signed picture that's in our office. He signed it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. He loved that map. He thought it was the greatest thing ever. And
so
you can see him now in the Continental Tire Series. He is a professional driver who happened to be there for the weekend.
That's a lovely story.
And he knew he had something to learn. So it comes to Chrissy to learn.
He just joined the conversation. He was like, oh yeah, I felt that too.
And I was like, you're right. And I was like, oh, have you been here before? And you're like, I didn't know who he was.
All right.
All right.
It's, thanks to Race Image, you really can't tell from a guy's suit if they're real or not. It's like, this guy could have bought this, or he could actually be running an IMSA. You don't know.
Like, right, Steve and Cheerios. You're like, well, I don't know that they're a current sponsor of anything, but you never know.
Yep.
All right, go ahead, Chris.
I got two for the race car. First one is, when you first built your race car, you didn't do much in the way of the interior. Like, whatever, it's got a tack, it's got an oil pressure, like, yeah, it's fine, right? And over time, you may have added some things like, we need to add the switch because the radiator fan won't turn on quick, like we're doing that Saturday night, right? An oil pressure gauge might be a good idea because we blew that motor last time. So putting that in. So you keep adding stuff, keep putting stuff in, and now your interior looks like a 12-year-old homeless monkey made it, because it's all just field expedient repairs.
Homeless monkey.
Yes, as opposed to the well-housed monkey. No, sorry, I apologize. A monkey experiencing homelessness. I need to be PC.
Thank you.
Right, Jeff's social justice warrior. So it's probably a mess. You probably can't see half the gauges. The switch is kind of it's not tight in the thing. The wiring is just like vampire clamps, whatever you could do at the time, right? So this is a great time to reimagine your interior and your dash. Like, let's get gauges that you can see, like pointed toward you. Maybe you're just in your line of sight. Let's have warning lights next to the gauges that they deal with, so it'll bring your attention to the thing you need to see. Let's go back to the show we had with Hamza. Let's look at that. How do you align your switches? Like, make the switches in the right spot, make them work, make them be how you expect to do, make them feel correctly. Okay, great. Get the gauges you need to see the most at the right level, the lesser ones down low. Like, make a gauge panel that when you pull the fire handle, the gauge panel isn't going to come off in your hand when you pull the fire handle. Right?
Move your other fire handles where the safety guy can get it.
Yeah. So many people's interiors look tragic because they were done as a secondary afterthought only when entirely necessary. Jeff.
I just would like to mention to our friends at Race Bar, this is more than a 1-day job for you. This is
Sure.
like a 4-month job for that frickin' 5 Series with all of that wiring.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
7
7.
series, even better.
7 Series,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. So think about it and think about what are the important things you need to see and what are not. Where can you put them? Take your time. Sit out in the car. Just sit in the car with a beverage and a piece of paper. It's a great time. Enjoy it. Sketch it all out. Make it work. You're going to be happy you did, because next time you're out in the car, you're actually going to be able to see what you need to know, and you're going to be able to, hopefully help your idiot teammates not blow the car up. And if you lose me at any point, it's because my headphones are now saying, these are the finest Chinese headphones. Please charging.
One of the things that from the Humps episode 2, helping out your teammates, is all gauges when they're normal should kind of all point the same direction.
Clocked. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And if they're over here, they're too hot. If they're over here, they're too low.
Yeah. Yep. And you could even make little like red strips out of just piece of red tape or vinyl or something like that, and put that in
Sharpie.
the bad part, right? Or yeah, when we were out in Spank's car in the Moke, there's a line that says slow, another line in the temp gauge that says pit, another line that says stop now. So,
Valid, actionable items right away. Yeah.
yeah, you knew exactly what it was.
Which sometimes I feel like I actually might need them, because I think every time I get in the car, I have to ask what is an
Wait,
appropriate.
is high good or bad on this one? No.
Yeah.
Does this gauge actually work? Hey, this has actually happened in our car.
Yeah, don't ignore that one. That one's not the important one.
Well,
Yeah.
right?
Totally
He says that.
The gauge is wrong.
Yeah. So to lower the red line in the Z, because obviously the 4.8 can't spin as fast as a 3.0, red electrical tape right on the front of the gauge.
How we made a little wedge.
Made a little
Nope,
wedge.
that's-
Yeah, so it
that's
actually
your
looks
thing.
right.
And it was great. You could see the
Perfect.
needle swing right to the wedge. You're like, oh, okay, there's the spot. Sounds good. All right. Anything else on the gauge and switch topic?
No, it's great.
Okay. Actually, replace the janky switches you probably bought at Pep Boys for $2.99 with something a little better quality, because
Pep Boys at like $6.99.
yeah, exactly. All right. Next one is similar. You built your car. You probably made some repairs. You made adjustments and things, but a lot of it's been done maybe in haste. So your suspension might have some issues that you don't know about. So now is a great time to take your time to go through it. So I'm suggesting you actually loosen every bolt in your suspension, not take them off, but just loosen them to make sure that they're not bound up, that there's nothing binding, that all the things can actually move as they should. That none of the suspension holes have been hogged out because the bolt rusted to the bushing, and over time it's just been moving a little bit, and now you've got a slotted hole that you didn't know you had. That's causing weird things. Like put a pry bar on all the important components. Make sure nothing is unnecessarily loose. So once you've done that, actually torque them all up to the right spec with the car suspension loaded, which you want to do to save your bushings, because your bushings, when they gets tight, the bushings can't move and flex. You want them to flex from their normal loaded spot so that they can go down, they can go up, they can do everything from that. Because if you tighten them when they're unloaded, once you get the car fully loaded, you're actually putting a lot of undue strain on your bushings. So really loosen
That's
everything.
a great tip, and something that you probably didn't do. Like when you built it, you probably built that suspension
I
while
did,
it was
but-
flying in the air. You know what I mean? Like I'm 99 out of 100.
And even if you have to you can't put it down, okay, you can put a jack under the control arm and jack it up until it's lifting up off that jack stand a little bit. That's as loaded as you can need it to be. All right. And then tighten them all up. And that, this way you can avoid seize bolts. You can avoid loose bolts you didn't know about. You can avoid anything binding up. You can avoid bushing tears, which is maybe you have a bushing that's bad. You didn't know it at the end of last year. You put the car away in October. You said, screw this. I'm not looking at this piece of junk anymore. now's the time to fix it. So because pressing out bushings at the track when you have a bushing fail in the middle of a 24 and you can't find a press anywhere, and you're trying to find a diesel pusher RV to press your thing out on your Honda Del Sol, and you can't, and you end up having to take a stock one and grind it down with a series of angle grinders and quenching it in buckets of water. I don't know anything about any of this. You don't want to do it. So do it at home where you're drinking a couple beers and have nice lights and a comfy bed.
But also the thing you say about suspension is so insidious. You've got turn 12 at Road Atlanta that it's always the same way. And it's going to slowly move your parts out of adjustment. That's just one of 1,000 examples of turns that are bad for suspension. And no one's going to notice because it's so small each time. And you just drive accordingly. And then it's one of those things where you go through everything Chris just said about just resetting it to the baseline. You get back in the car and you remember, oh God, this is why I built this thing. It handles so great.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it 1,000 times. Endurance racing will stress everything that you don't realize to its limit, past its limit. It's the, what is it? The dripping water that cuts through the rock. It's just again and again and again, lap after lap after lap, hour after hour after hour, abusing every little component.
And then once you've done all that, do a good alignment. Like take your time, get the alignment just right. And then you'll know you're starting the year with suspension that is happy, good. Anything goes wrong, it's something new. And I think it makes for a much happier car to drive. It's easier. It's more pleasant. You enjoy it more. It's less likely to do weird things.
It's also like a baseline.
Yeah.
Then if you start out the season, in theory, if nothing happens to it and it's just driving, then you know that either you only have to check the things that should have been wrong, or, then at least you started out at a good point.
Or it's a good basis for improvement. Write down where your settings all are. And then if you say, oh, I want to do something to try to get a little, more oversteer. Okay, let's do the alignment this and make one change at a time. And that goes into tuning and stuff, which we've talked about before. But you got to start.
Yeah, we have whole
you can't
episodes
just do
on
it.
this. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the track with your toe plates, you probably fixed your toe and screwed up your thrust. And there's a million things that you've probably done.
Yep. Getting it out on track is not as good as sitting there in February with a harpoon winter lager and enjoying life,
making vroom noises.
Yeah.
Sitting there going, this is going to be awesome. I'm so going to win. It was only the alignment that was stopping me from winning.
Totally going to dominate.
This thing's totally going
to dominate.
Totally going to dominate.
Yep.
Wow. Does anyone have any other thoughts on something you can do this weekend? Mental go.
If you think of something, dear listener, that we forgot, get a hold of us on any of our social medias. This is what I did this weekend, or this is what I like to do the weekend before reseason. Any of those ideas, let us know. Something like that Michael K just gave us. Good, helpful feedback that other people in our audience might enjoy.
I have a feeling there'll be a what you're working on post this weekend, so it's a great time to do it.
Unless everybody's working on their little police boats, or their what do you have, a helipad in the other room?
Boy Scout camping. Boy Scout camping.
Yep.
Oh, so yeah, lots of what you're working on here.
I'm definitely going to stare at civic wiring.
Half marathon. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cars and
Chrissy likes that police boat.
It's the only one I can. It's the only one I can reach. I can't reach them all. They're all like on the other side of the table.
Yep. All right. Does anyone have just the hella sweets on the spot? Anything at all?
Oh, wow.
I thought you were bringing
the showdown.
I just wanted to make sure no one else came with anything better. So, all right. So on the subject of all the toy store work I've been doing, let's go on the spot. What was maybe not your favorite, but a memorable childhood toy that you had? Let's say pre-age 12, something you had that you were super excited about at the time, enough that it made an impact on you. and I'll start us off just because I just was staring at all of them.
Well, that's not fair.
Well, it's easy. I'll get us going.
Well, okay, this helps. This helps because
Right.
it gives us
I
a
had-
moment.
I had the monorail, the Lego monorail. Like I wanted the Lego monorail. That was the coolest thing in 1988 or whatever it was.
What's that name again?
Monorail?
Monorail. What's it mean?
It really put Lego on the map.
Mono means one. Rail means rail.
Yeah. So I really wanted it. I got it. It was great, and I loved it, and I took super good care of it, as evidenced by the fact of how good condition it's in now. When I just put it back together and put it on eBay for $489. So,
But you put it in the original box. That
yeah. So that's my start.
That's a good one. If I see Chrissy still aggressively contemplating, so I
Yes.
will go.
Okay.
Mine was I had the big track. Now this is a bit of a dated, but think 1980 time frame. The big track was a programmable electronic
Oh,
toy.
I know exactly what it
8
is.
devices. Yes. Well, and of course, and what was interesting is it didn't
So
its
jealous.
standard measure was itself. So I am going to do the share screen. Here's one available on eBay for 100 gajillion. And this one allowed you to, it was a not a remote control car, but a vehicle that you could send on autonomous missions throughout your house or your yard.
Go 10 feet, turn
Using-
left 90
yes.
degrees.
Using the keypad right here, go forward,
Wow.
turn left, turn right, a certain amount of degrees. It had a laser that would make a firing noise. And I even had the one that had it came with the trailer, which you had to
The
get the next one.
trailer.
Yes.
Oh my
and the
God.
Trailer, the big track transport. So you could drive that through the
There it
house.
is.
So
and
you have a remote control.
No,
No.
no remote control.
no remote control. All input is done on the keypad on the back of the vehicle.
So you have
had
to walk with
plan-
it.
No, you would plan it out ahead of time
Oh.
and send it on its way autonomously. And then if it got
And it
jammed
had
up,
a
it
trailer
just-
so you could get your friend a beer or something, and then you could bring the thing in the trailer.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I
And this
really
was
wish I knew about this question beforehand. I'm sad that I
I
didn't.
know. I wish I had two, but I'm actually very happy that Chris asked it. Now, if this is going to work, and I fear that given my gigablasting internet, it may not. But here is an opportunity for a YouTube video showing.
Oh my
the
God.
big-
I was pulling up the commercial as you were doing it.
So
Jeff might be a little more equipped
And-
to handle.
it is. I believe I actually had the same shirt that this young man is wearing, giant velour, huge white collar. But you'll see he programs it and it goes on its way. Of course, batteries were not included. There's the laser firing, and
Oh, your internet.
it could negotiate. Nope, I'm not going to go down these stairs. Screw you. I'm out of here. And it would drive along, and then it could.
Oh, there's this little trailer.
and then
Yeah,
it
the little
dumps
trailer. Yeah.
Look at these guys. Oh, look, here's your apple for your dad. I'm sure that's
Yes.
exactly what he wanted. A little apple.
Well, the
I
beer
wanted
ketchup
one of
is-
so
those so bad and never got one. I'm
Mm-hmm.
super jealous.
I had one. Then I even had it. I got it back when I was in my 20s, and one of my moves from Europe. I'm like, I'm tired of carrying around old toys. Nobody cares about this stuff. If I still had it, obviously it'd be worth some serious money.
I guess I got to show a screen share on the Lego monorail then, because this thing is.
Okay, well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna say that I loved and this is weird because it's not really a toy. It was an electronic game, and it was the football game, the football game that everyone had and everyone loved, and it was like it had like it was like little electronic red dots moving back and forth. Exactly.
Yeah.
I think it was
Not
Coleco
Pong.
football. Not Pong. It
Okay.
was a handheld video game.
LED. It was a little bit bigger than a calculator, and it was 10 yards represented on the field, so you'd have to run past it 10 times to get a touchdown. So you would have to run past the defenders.
There's only one game, right? Because it's not like a Game Boy. Like you don't stuff another
Yeah.
game in it. It's
Yeah.
just one game.
Yep. Let's see, yeah.
I actually have it. I will be able to share, Chris, but you had the share first. So go ahead.
Now you go. I'm trying to find a good
Okay.
picture of this thing.
I really appreciate that you guys are buying me time.
This was the game.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Now this is classic football
Oh.
2. Classic football 1 only had 3 directions, so you couldn't actually run backwards. My brother had that. That was lame. I had this one. It was better.
Okay.
right.
Cool.
I got mine up. So
All right, go ahead.
I don't even need to see this video because I saw it happening in our basement.
well, it's not a video. It's
Oh, okay.
Oh,
but there you
wow.
can see.
But
so
it's
it-
wow.
Bricklink
this,
who has all these. Yes.
this is like 5 feet wide, the whole entire track, and it goes up
Mhm.
and down. And this is a power unit, and this thing will go. It obviously drives itself around, and you change it, if you change the settings at the stations, it changes which direction it goes, and it's got like loading and unloading things.
I
and,
can't even believe you
little
used
guys,
yours
and
because yours literally looks like that.
I was good to my toys, like I am
Oh my
still good to my
gosh.
toys. So yeah.
Wow. Chrissy, did you say something? I'm sorry, I missed it.
No, did I say something?
Did you
I
do
say
your toy? I'm
I
sorry.
did not do my toy. I was just trying to share
We're
screen.
all trying to give you time.
No,
Yes.
yeah, you did a great job. I don't know why it's not listing my.
Well,
guess I
just
did
tell us
wrong.
what it is.
Oh, okay. So let's keep in mind that I am younger than all of you, and I am a girl. So I will tell you mine. I think I had a lot of dollies, but I think I'm gonna go with Popples.
I have no idea what you're about to show me.
Okay. Well,
No idea what a
hap-
popple is.
That's what happens when you don't.
Oh
have
yes, I vaguely remember these. They are related to puffalumps.
They're better. They're not really. I can't find. Hold on.
I can feel the rage from Austin right now.
See, this is why I didn't.
No. Yeah, no. Oh yes. Oh wait, no. These actually were because they were real pillows. Yes. Okay.
See, that was me.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then you tuck
Well-
them into pillows.
And they're pillows.
Yeah.
There you go.
that's fantastic.
Sure. This is
Uh,
difficult. I'm sure I had many other things. This is the one that came to mind.
That has
thought you were-
no recollection whatsoever. Like I don't ever remember.
You didn't have
even
a house with
seeing
girls
that
in it.
commercial.
Like,
I watched TV. Didn't they have commercials?
well,
No,
then,
they had
yeah,
a cartoon. They had their own cartoon series.
they did.
I
Yeah.
watched
that
And
was-
they probably had their
that's
own.
what-
I watched Gem
Yeah.
too. I see.
what
Maybe we
Gem is
everything
exactly-
was. In the 80s, everything was a cartoon, a cereal, and a toy.
Yeah.
pretty much.
Three
I
of
think I had all of them. So
Mhm.
yes, I'm gonna go with that one. If you were saying under 12, Beanie Babies are next. I think I was I was 12 at Beanie
I had
Babies,
some
so.
Beanie Babies.
Mhm.
See, I thought, Chrissy, you were going to say the realistic single tape player, the mono speaker with the handle.
Well, see, that's what I was gonna go.
Oh.
That
I
you
was gonna
just-
go with my Walkman because I
Yeah,
had a
yeah.
Walkman
Okay. I mean,
when I
we,
was like 10, 11.
you didn't give a parameter as to what had some impact. I mean,
didn't.
I don't know.
I
It's
didn't. No, there was a bunch of them, I'm sure, but this is the one I thought you were going to do. The
you
one
have
that
it?
everyone's seen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And I
It's
had
just-
one tape, and it
Yeah.
was CNC Music Factory. Everybody Dance Now. And
That was a
everybody
nice
listen-
goal.
everybody listened to it all the time, and that's all they listened to. And I know every word to every song on it because
It's
I
got the
want
little
them.
handle that pops out and you can carry it
Yeah,
around.
you're
The sound
absolutely-
is so terrible.
You're absolutely
And-
right.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, and CNC Music Factory are one of those that like probably were they kind of are one-hit wonders. But I know all of the songs because of the tape. So it's one of those things like at some point the fifth song on the second side is like not good, but I listened to it anyway. Thanks for bringing that up. I appreciate it.
I
This
had
was a good one.
yes.
Thanks.
I can't find an image of it because as I type it in, it keeps bringing me up that style. But I had like the molded, brightly colored plastic one with the lunchbox style handle, and the tape on its side, and it would eject out that way. But I can't.
Yeah, no, I had the Walkman. I had older brother, so if you wanted to listen to your music, you had to have headphones
Mhm.
in the back of the car, hours and hours at end.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends on what age. I mean,
hear
my
this.
parents didn't want to listen to this.
No.
But-
Not 14
No.
times in a row.
No, all the time. Flip it over,
Uh,
listen to it, flip it over. Yep.
Twisted
This
Sister
was-
was in mine. That's it.
This was this was the version of that I had, the this red. In fact, it was red with the big huge push
Oh,
button.
look at that.
Yeah.
That looks like a. Oh wow.
Panasonic handheld cassette
And-
player.
And they were all made by one company, and everyone just put their little badges on there because they were all exactly
I
the
have
same.
not. And the front is that the speaker?
That's the speakers in the back. The front is it's
Oh.
tinted plastic. That's where the cassette would go in and
Got
out.
it.
And
Wow. This is like
yeah.
almost not it's carryable, but it's pretty
oh,
big.
that's what that. Yeah, that's
Handle.
no. It's the same size as yours.
Oh, okay.
It's just oriented differently.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I think Jeff is looking for something.
I am.
so
I'm gonna blow all of your minds. Only mental will know what this is.
I love this.
All right, this is when our compact, tight, on schedule show went right.
No,
off the
we're
rails.
totally going off the rails.
This is fun. 80s, 90s
Everyone,
toys.
80s, 90s toys.
Quickly. Does anyone know what that is?
I believe
No.
that is
Apparently, it's a
the-
2XL robot.
So a 2XL was it looks like a robot. For those of you who are looking at home and don't know what it is an 8-track player, like a regular old 8-track player.
I'm sorry, eight.
Shut up.
eight?
Listen. You're messing with me.
I know I
Hey,
am.
A 2XL was a robot shaped 8-track player that had 4 buttons on the front. Question A, B, and C, and
Yes.
it would ask you trivia questions, and you
Oh.
would push A, B, or C, and it would tell you whether you got it right, and then you would
This
put
is
question,
pretty fancy.
and it would go back. And it also played regular music 8 tracks. So I had a lot of, even though everyone else had moved on to cassette, I was still listening to 8 tracks because I loved my 2XL. And if I played like the laugh and the little voice that the 2XL made, everybody who is like 55 and over would laugh their balls off because it was funny.
I didn't know things like that existed, and that's amazing. I also wish it makes me think of your family photo from when you were little, and I really wish you had one of those because people would think that was amazing.
That wasn't when I was little, it was when I was in high school.
Yeah. Your hair,
Littler,
stunning.
your hair was stunning. You and your brother.
I was born in 1972. That means I was 8 and 80 and 18 and 90. So
So
Yep.
what?
that's, I'm just
You
saying.
still
all
had
of you-
amazing hair.
All of you people who think you
All
know
yous?
the 80s,
All
you
yous.
didn't. We really lived it, and it was terrible.
My cheeks.
Mental
hurt.
can tell you the music was not great. The hair was not
Your
great.
hair was amazing.
I loved it though. Well, Chris, thanks for bringing us down Amnesia Lane. Speaking of things we can't remember, does anybody know what we're doing next week?
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah.
actually does.
Good.
It's your topic.
Your topic.
Oh, it's my topic? Usually
I don't
Chris
even
says what the
remember
topic
it
is.
was. Oh.
We're going to talk about saving the car to make it last all weekend. Sometimes everybody wants to drive fast. Everybody wants to be moved up into a better run group. But sometimes you got to take it easy, and that's what we're talking about next week. How to save the car, how to save the gas,
Save gas.
how to save the tires. Yeah. But for this week, thanks for downloading us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. We also hope you'll join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. I'm half out of music, so I'm going to go really quick. Even if you hated us, give us 5 stars. Tell us why. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop a comment on our Facebook page. If you want to talk about your 2XL or your right down there in the doodly-doo, just talk to us.
And you got to
can
do that thumbs up. You got
yeah,
subscribe
thumbs
thing,
up,
because that's how
smash
more
the
people
like
find
button.
us.
Please. Anyway, Everyone Racers, email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text Mental at 484-243-0455. Find us on Instagram or Twitter at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, or even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again, and until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless the wheels are still off because you overbit on that weekend project, and then just stay safe and keep those wheels down.